Hello everyone, welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave. We cover things in the pop and Greek culture. This podcast is put together by over 70 contributors, most of whom come from the Podcast of Ice and Fire community. I'm Vikram, I go by as fortytwo on the forums, and joining me this week are Zach.
Hey, this is Alias in the forums. Sorry, I'm laughing at that we cover Greek culture is what I heard.
Yeah, Greek culture and Greek yogurt especially.
Yeah,
We're big on yogurts here. Greek cultured yogurt, that's what I meant, not pop culture and geek culture.
Of course.
And Brett.
Brett, White Raven on the forums.
So after this we're gonna do the Shadow Mordor podcast, and then we can do Zack the Humiliator or White Raven the Catcher or something. Nothing fun for Destiny. It's just Zack the Warlock guy, White Raven the Hunter guy, I guess.
I mean, you took away my Hunter status earlier, so I don't know if I still am.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, they're basically all the same, so I don't know if it really matters what we call ourselves. Oh, I'm starting with the negative already. Oh, God.
Are they all the same? The only one I've ever tried is Hunter.
Well, the abilities are different, but the core gameplay is essentially shooting your guns, and you have all the same kind of guns, and I don't know. I didn't have any impulse to make a different class to experience the other very not too involved abilities that they have.
Yeah, we're kind of getting into this class discussion, but you're right. Like, it kind of felt like when I was getting started to, the Titan's going to be the armor guy, so he's going to be the shotgun dealing guy, and the sniper's going to be, or the hunter's going to be the low health guy, so, it's going to be the sniper guy and things like that. But no, right? I'm like using a sniper rifle all the time, and when calls for it, I use a shotgun too. I play a warlock.
Of course you do. I think the Warlock and the Titan definitely look cooler. The Hunter's pretty boring looking.
The Hunter, no, the cape actually is the coolest part. So each class, this is the only distinct accessory, I guess. So Titans get an ass cloth, Warlocks get a bat, and Hunters get a cool cape. And I was like, when do I get my cape? No, I'm a Warlock. I get a stupid band which I can't even see most of the time.
And it's always like yellow or blue or some ridiculous color, unless you get the skin things, which are also look really stupid.
So we are going to talk about, I guess did I introduce the game actually? So we're going to talk about Destiny's Bungie and Bungie's Destiny, and
we're all over the place.
And at the time of recording, patch 1.1.0.2 is live, and the Iron Banner event is going on. So this is post the Cryptarch engram fixes and all that stuff, and the Iron Banner event, which is where the gear actually matters, but in reality where it doesn't actually matter, is going on. So yeah. If you haven't got a sense yet, the game, we're not really too excited about the game. I mean, it's strange though. I mean, like I never play shooters on the consoles. This is the reason why I tried Last of Us a bit, and I didn't like it, and I just walked away. But the gunplay mechanic and the shooting is so much nice in this. As a guy who's totally noob about shooters on consoles, I was able to do decently average, and that's where Bungie's, I think, prowess comes in, I guess, right? I mean, they are the guys who do console FPS.
Yeah, that definitely, if I had to pick a single element that really made me enjoy Destiny, it would just be the pure gunplay. It's very fun, it's very enjoyable, and as someone who came from a lot of Halo and all that back in the day, it was very nice to kind of come back to that and enjoy that for a while. But the problem ultimately comes with that there's no support structure for the core gameplay to kind of make it interesting.
So let's go. Let's do just a wide overview. Rate the game. Give it, I don't know, 5 strange coins. Glimmer. No, 5 glimmer is too low. What shall we rate it with?
Grimoire cards.
Grimoire cards. On legendary engrams, which turn into rare engrams.
That are for not your class if you're not lucky, because the loot system is terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
So let's do that. How about you, Brett? How many Grimoire cards would you give it?
I suppose I'd give it probably a 3 out of 5. It's not like the game blew me away, but it's enjoyable and fun to play. Just nothing that like made me want to play it every minute of every day.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the gunplay stuff a bit later, but I just wanted to tell listeners, if you're not enjoying the game right now with whatever gun you're using, just try the different guns. Just try a scout rifle, just try a hand cannon, and it changes things up. For the longest time, I was using a pulse rifle and it sucked, and when I switched to auto rifle, it was so much fun. Like, I liked meaty, bullet shield
Yeah.
bosses and all
Well,
that.
that's also because auto rifles are way better, and they're gonna get nerfed.
Yeah, that's true. That's when I'm gonna walk away from the game, I guess. Zach, how about you? How many Grim War cards?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't clear from my various side comments throughout, I was not the biggest fan of Destiny. I think that it, in many ways, did not live up to what I guess were pretty high expectations. I mean, this game was hyped for a very long time. I was very excited for it. I was hoping that it would be a thing that I would really, really get into. Though ultimately, I think that was a folly on my part, mainly because it's on console, which has never really been my playground. But yeah, the gameplay, or the gunplay, and all that, like I said, is the reason why I kept playing. I think the PvP in particular is really good, where I personally spent the majority of my time. So on that strength alone, I would give it three grimoire cards, but I can't say that word. But every other aspect for me was pretty much disappointing. I don't like the loot system. I don't like the way it works with kind of a randomness involved. In PvP in particular, no matter how you score in the game, you don't have a guarantee of getting loot. It can be you go 20-5, but you get nothing, and the guy who goes like 1-17 gets legendary engram or something ridiculous like that. There isn't really a rhyme or reason to it, and generally speaking, it can be really frustrating, and I don't like the PvE. I feel like it's really repetitive after a while. I struggled even to finish the story, which is another problem because the story is abysmal and somehow it's worse than like a Call of Duty game. I don't know how they pulled that off, but yeah, it's really bad. And for those reasons, I take those points off.
It's kind of the same for me here. I would give it three, and I, I think I bought into a hype, but since console FPSs are usually not my thing, I just rented it from Redbox and tried it for a couple of days, and I actually liked it. It just felt the gunplay was very good, and the earlier missions, I kept dying over and over, but then, after 3-4 tries, I was actually able to beat the boss. It wasn't so hard that I had to like walk away, but I don't know what they did with the difficulty system. It was just right, I think, for a really good player, they could have probably killed it in the first try, but with really low health and stuff. For somebody that sucks like me, you die a couple of times, but you eventually beat it. So I don't know their approach to difficulty. I think there's something special here, that this game is special. I mean, there are various features of this game that are good, but they make all these mistakes that are just bad game design mistakes, like that are not thought all the way through. Like, I mean, you wouldn't see World of Warcraft making these mistakes because they have 7 years, and probably Destiny a year from now will probably be a lot better. But
Yeah,
there's potential here. The technology is nice. There's no servers. There's phasing technology and stuff like that. So it's got good things going for it, but it will be a while before this game actually shines. So I think I would give it a 3 out of 5 as well.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to look back at this game in a year. I think that is a really good point. I hope they make it better, but a lot of the decisions they've made so far have not blown me away. It's like expansions that promise just more missions, more strikes, things that I personally didn't think were great. It's just more of the same, whereas I'm hoping for some innovation and some fixing of the issues that you pointed out.
Yeah, the expansion, I was looking at it and I don't know if I want to get it yet, because they're going to charge $30 for 2 expansions, or probably $15 a piece, or maybe I think they'll charge $20 a piece. And there was a glitch recently and that kind of revealed what was coming out, and there was like a huge controversy about, hey, was the stuff already on the disc and they were just holding us back, something. But it sounds like you're going to get like 4 or 5 missions and then a couple of strikes, a raid, and then a couple of Crucible maps for $20. I don't know. I'm used to World of Warcraft's definition of an expansion. I need a new race, I need a new class, I need a new zone, at least.
Here's what I feel about expansion packs. Fuck you. I already paid you $60 for this fucking game, and you want 30 more so I can keep playing your game?
It would be
It's not
fine
Yeah.
if
like
it
things
was
change that much.
Yeah, it'd be fun if it was new, interesting stuff, but it's literally just more of the same, and it's gonna probably be a lot of reused, or maybe not reused environments, but a lot. It's the core gameplay doesn't change, and it's still gonna be the idea of you go to these places to grind out loot by killing lots of enemies in a space. And to be fair, the spaces in Destiny are really nice. Like the graphically, it's an amazing looking game. No one's gonna knock it on that score. I mean, Bungie skyboxes have always been worth marveling at more than actually looking at things in real life. But that's not enough to carry it, obviously.
Oh no, that's so true. Like the environments like Earth, Moon, Mars, and Venus, right? I mean, they're so pretty and they seem very crafted. They seem very handcrafted. I mean, that the detail in the locations. Like while I was playing this game, I also even tried Arcade, and the landscape in that game was blah. And after this podcast, we're gonna talk about Shadow of Mordor, and Mordor was like, I mean. That's the reason I did not get Shadow of Mordor initially when I was looking at those playthrough videos. All the landscape and scenery looks so bad.
Save it, Vic. Save
Yeah,
it.
but but it was so boring. I was like, I'm not gonna play this game. This looks so bad. But Destiny has this such a rich landscape, but there's nothing in it. It's got the same caves and same patrolling mob
Mm,
thing that you had shot to get engrams. Ah.
that's a great way to put it. It's a great world, but there is nothing in it. It's a very hollow game.
Yeah, but I would say this: if you take me to Earth and drop me off anywhere, and I can point out and say, "Hey, I'm at Skywatch. Hey, I'm at Mothyard. Hey, I'm at Divide," and I think I can do that with the Moon too, and I think I can do that with Venus and Mars as well. No, well, Mars is a bit repetitive, I guess, but every other planet, you can drop me off anywhere, and I can actually tell you what the subzone name is.
I'm really surprised that the story wasn't better. It seemed like such a neat idea, and I like the fact that it's centered around our solar system, and then it's like they had the idea, but they didn't know how to put it together, and they just threw out what we got.
Well, there's a lot of, I suppose, conspiracy theories that the story was planned to be way more interesting with some of these little hinted elements we get with like the Queen and stuff, but they cut a lot of it in later stages, and we got this kind of stripped down very
So they can
much.
resell it to us later.
Well, I don't know. That could be why. That's the big theory is that they're trying to exploit our wallets, of course. But yeah, I don't know why that is, but that is a potential reason why it's so weak.
Yeah, I should try find all those audio snippets where where the stranger goes, "Oh, I don't have the time to tell you why I don't have the time."
Well fought.
You're here.
We haven't got much time.
Who are you?
Why have you been watching us?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. I will. I know.
And the
Yeah,
one where the speaker goes like, "Oh, I could tell you of the great battles. I could
but
tell
I
you about
won't.
that."
What happened to it?
I could tell you of the great battle centuries ago. How the traveler was crippled. I could tell you of the power of the darkness, its ancient enemy.
Oh, yeah, that Angry Joe review really summed that part up.
Yeah, Angry Joe
Shoutouts to
review
him.
was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the I mean, I think I wanted the reason why I rented was okay. I'm not gonna enjoy the gameplay, but at least I want to know the story because it sounded so interesting. But I think after Lost, I'm a bit skeptical of places where or stories where they show all school stuff. But we're not going to explain this to you now. We're going to explain this to you 4 or 5 years down the road. And because I got so burnt by Lost and Prometheus that I'm like, I'm not going to commit, guys. You need to give me stuff up front or at least tell me why. Basically we all come after this game and we don't know any more about the darkness, right? I mean, I don't know if the fallen are darkness. I don't know if the hive are darkness, right? But the cabal are not darkness, so I don't even know which side is which side.
I don't even know
I kind
either.
of think they're all their own side.
Yeah, right. It's like so messed up. I was playing the Nexus Strike the other day, which is the one which is the dungeon on Venus, and I realized after playing that strike for like the 10th time that, hey, wait a minute, half the strike I'm fighting Fallen and then it turns into Vex. This doesn't make any sense at all. Why are the Vex fighting? It's just, it's just all over the place. Like Hive show up in, Fallen dungeons, Cabal show up in Vex dungeons. It's all like all over the place. It's like, oh, whatever, man. Just drop engrams and leave me alone.
I do like when they're fighting each other and you just like kind of stumble upon it. It's kind of neat because you're like, oh well, I guess I'll just sit here and pick them off.
Well, that is until they both start shooting at you and you accidentally manage to get their attention. That's never good news.
No, I think that is one of the strategies. Like in the Devil Cloud mission, it's a Vex, it's a fallen dungeon. For a bit, there's a highway, and one of the strats actually says, "Hey, just back off and let the hive and the fallen fight each other, and then you can pick up the remainders."
I just like the idea that there's a war going on that you're not really involved in, besides you. I like the thought of that, but they don't really get into it much from what I've seen. Of course, I haven't finished the game or anything, so I'm a bad one to talk. So maybe I should.
Well,
just
you're not really missing anything, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna save all the spoiler-filled stuff towards the end of the podcast and try to be spoiler-free for now, and then just gonna talk about the systems of the game and strikes. So,
No worries here. I don't have any spoilers to give.
but with this game, I would say don't freak out if we drop a spoiler because it's actually not a big deal. It's, we don't know anything about the big story arc here. There's all sorts of theories evolving. People have been going through the Grimwar cards and stuff like that, but there's nothing concrete out there. I mean, if you like all the theorizing thing and the speculation thing, there's a group called the Ice and Fire podcast of Ice and Fire group. They like to do a lot of theorizing and rumors and all that stuff. So
But not about Destiny, to be perfectly clear.
so if you like all the theorizing and stuff, but the thing is, I'm into those stuff too. That's why I'm part of the group. But this doesn't give you anything. There's no Ned Stark head getting chopped off to get you sucked in. Somebody should kill the speaker. That would be the Ned Stark thing.
Yeah, that'd be fun, I guess. But ultimately, what it boils down to, not to get too much into it, I won't spoil anything. But the problem is that none of it is remotely engaging to me. Just it's all presented in such a bland, generic way that. And I'm encouraged to, of course, go to their website to fill in the details, which I have no compulsion whatsoever to do based on any kind of hook that they might have given me. It's just a very clunky, very poorly thought out system of delivering the story to you.
Yeah, I feel like whenever they're telling me, oh, go to Bungie.net and check this out, I'm like, no, I want to play the game and I don't want to go to Bungie.net ever. Just make a little submenu on my screen. I can just pop up and look at it. I don't see why I have to go to your website.
Yeah, and even that's lazy, but they still don't even have like a codex or a library in the game where you can read these cards. It's so ridiculous that you have to literally exit the game, go somewhere else, and read their website to get this stuff.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is not a single player game, so you can't pause the game. I mean, there have been complaints about having pause in the game. I'm like, this is an MMO, guys. You can't pause an MMO. So what do they expect? They expect us to pause or stop what we are doing in the current strike or mission and then go up and look up the website on what this stupid card is.
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever been on Bungie.net, and that's just what you sent me, and that's all I looked at. So.
I mean, I can see one reason why they did it is because to pull us into this website, because there's no chat feature, there's no voice proximity voice thing. Or the only time I experienced proximity VoIP thing is with PlanetSide 2, so I'm not really familiar with exactly how it all kind of works, how it usually works. But there's nothing, right? The only way you can talk to other players is point at them and dance with them or something.
Well, if you have people in your strike team, you can talk to them. Shoeshiner from the forums, I was on with him.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, you can talk to each other through the little headphone thing on your controller.
But you kind of, it only works if you're in the fire team, right? You can't talk with people you are in the strike with randomly. Also, it's like.
Yes, only in your fire team.
Yeah, I think that party is even like built in PSN itself or whatever platform you're using, not the game. So the game itself is very stripped in terms of social features, which I think is a huge problem with a game like this. And I think obviously it stems from mainly the fact that it's limited by your platform by being on a console. You can't do very much with a controller to communicate
Hmm.
and that's gonna hold them back. But still, I think they could have done more than literally having like three emotes to communicate in the hub with various people. And it's weird because the game feels so lonely, despite the fact that it has so many people playing it.
I mean, the companion app is pretty decent, but the companion app, it shows you your gear and stuff like that and what bounties are for the day. But it also has a chat feature where you can talk with people in your clans, but you can only talk to clans. You can't even like talk to groups and on the whole, a clan only holds like 200 players. So I'm part of the Reddit PS3 clan, and I try, oh, I need to do this daily heroic mission thing, guys, anybody want to join? I want to do this Queen's Wrath thing, guys. You want to join? And there's barely any people using it to get a response back. So yeah, pretty much the entire game I've done it through solo, or the random bug thing that the game sets up for me. How about you guys? So, Brett, you played through with Sushine, and how about you, Zach? Have you played it through with friends?
I've played some with friends. I've done a few just story missions with people that were in a fire team with me. Someone helped me beat the final mission, but nothing that required any degree of serious coordination, like a
No.
strike or anything like that. And obviously, yeah, the game it doesn't really have much of that, though. There is the rating, which I
Yeah.
don't think any of us have experience with, but there could be something there. I don't have any kind of interest in it. I feel like the gameplay really boils down to you encounter an enemy and you have to shoot it an increasing number of times depending on its difficulty, and it can get to ridiculous levels where you have to shoot these huge big circles that have a looping a series of abilities for a long time, and it's really just a time sink. Though I have heard with the rating there is kind of movement based stuff that's kind of cool, but I don't feel the need to get there, especially just because of the fact that in all other ways I'm not impressed by the loot system or feel any compulsion to grind anything out.
Yeah, I've seen the raiding videos. I mean, yeah, I haven't participated in a raid myself, but I've seen there are videos out there of people doing the raid in like 30, 60 minutes. And yeah, there's some places like there are some group mechanics in there that are interesting. Like to even open the door to the raid, you need to be at six different positions and then kill off waves of enemies as they come surprise. That's like the most overused mechanic in this game.
Literally,
There's
almost every story mission is in the following format. You go to the place, killing some people on the way. You send Peter Dinklage into the machine, and he says something is wrong, and you have to defend him for a while as things try to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, you can do more things with it. Except for Blizzard, I haven't seen any other studio do big boss battles nicely, It's every time, like pretty much all the boss battles in this game are there's going to be a big guy in the center of the room, you're going to shoot at him, and then occasionally every few minutes ads are going to spawn, you're going to fight it off, and then do it again, do it again, do it again. And that's pretty much all the strikes in the game, right?
Yeah, and it's disappointing because I mean the Halo games have amazing mission designs in many cases. Some of them are kind of weak, but there's a lot of really cool, interesting stuff you do. But in this game, I guess because of the fact that it's an MMO and things had to be pared down, has just this extremely repetitive mission structure that gets old very fast.
Yeah, in the raid video I've seen, so I think there are two bosses. I may be wrong. One's the Templar, and the Templar is kind of like the thing. There's a big one of those Hydra creature things, Vex Hydras in the center of the room. You fight off waves and all that. And the last boss, too, that seems a bit interesting because you have to go through these portals, and it's a different time. You get a shield, then you come back in time. So there's like a time mechanic there where you go into the past, retrieve this legendary shield or something to fight off the enemies, and then the boss
Spoilers, Vic, man.
I mean, it's a raid. It's out there. I mean, so
Just kidding, man.
and then I think part of the party he teleports off, and so there's only half of the party fighting the boss, and the rest of the party need to find their way back to this current time. So there's interesting stuff there, but it looks like, wait a minute, you had so much creativity and you used it all on the final raid boss and none anywhere else. I think we've been becoming too negative on the game. So let's start with some of the strengths of the game, guys. So what do you guys think is some of the strengths of the game?
I love headshots.
Yeah.
There's not much more satisfying than seeing their head blow off. I like that. And I like that you're not fighting people, honestly. It feels good.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, the enemy design is pretty fun and pretty fairly varied. I mean, it's better than some other games I've played, but it does boil down to you have to shoot him in the head at the end of the day, and that is a very satisfying experience. Again, the gameplay is very satisfying. The gunplay is a lot of fun and just really I don't know. It has like this visceral appeal that alone is a reason to keep coming back to it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm basically mixing between an auto rifle and then a hand cannon, and it's so much fun. Like you know, with the hand cannon, you can just like one shot big, powerful enemies. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and go
So
on.
I was just say, I just wish they didn't have ammo constraints. Like, don't give me 9 shots with my gun. Give me like as many as I can pick up. I don't like that. I don't mind you starting me with a certain amount, but don't limit the amount that I can get. That's I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know what about to think about that. In a way, it's like with primary rifle, I don't have to worry about ammo at all because every creature, every enemy drops ammo, right? It's only with the heavies and the specials I sometimes have to be like a bit more conservative.
Yeah, I'm
So,
not sure how I feel about it either, because the strange thing, obviously the goal of limiting your ammo with your secondary weapon is because it's, in theory, a better weapon, and they want you to not have access to it at all times. But the weird thing about that is that the secondary weapon is typically, especially in PvE, not better than, say, like an auto rifle in
hmm
most cases. I mean, just having access to such rapid fire and high damage is seems to me at least to be, in most circumstances, the way to go. So that kind of mucks the issue up a bit.
Yeah, it's like the shotgun is really good at short range, and they say they want to nerf the shotgun, but I don't see why. I
Well, it's in
already have a.
PvP, it's incredibly powerful. That's
Oh, I
where
see. Okay.
the
Oh,
problem
yeah.
is.
Here's now the PvP and the PvE balance issue where one affects the other, which
Of course,
sucks. I
plaguing all MMOs since the beginning.
and soon they're gonna add resilience or something to it. So yeah, so it's not like in a day-to-day situation when I'm running patrols, I'm like always on a special rifle anyway. You know, with sniper, I'm like it's long distance, but with short, I have to use a primary. So I don't know why there. I guess it's only in the strikes where I really use the special weapon a lot more. You know, I find a nice spot for me and then unload my sniper rifle on the thing and then go back and collect some more and come back and do it. So I guess I can see some there, but yeah.
I guess all I'm saying is I don't mind I don't mind him not dropping as many or not being able to get as many. I just don't like that you have to leave it on the ground because that's all you can get. That part I don't like.
Yeah, actually, the currently Zer, who has come back for the weekend, he's selling a rifle called the Icebreaker. Not the rifle, sorry, a sniper rifle, and its special perk is that its ammo regenerates over time. So that actually is an interesting mechanic. I don't know whether it's going to be a good or bad, but they should. Yeah, I think there is a lot of potential here. They could put all sorts of weird stuff on these weapons and see how it works out.
Yeah, there's an appeal to that too, of trying to get these cool kind of unique weapons, and I guess I might be that might be a reason to actually do the grinding. But it's just again the problem with the loot system, and I know I'm getting back to the negative here, is that it's so random and so difficult to figure out it's just it's very unreliable and not in a exciting kind of RNG way like a game like Diablo might be, where you can kill a lot of enemies and you get very excited when you see that thing drop, but at least in that game, when you see the thing drop, the exciting thing, you know it's going to be good for you, or it's going to be maybe you don't know it's going to be good for you, but you know it's at least going to be for your class. Whereas in Destiny, there is no guarantee of that.
Yeah, let's talk about the loot system. And I don't know. I think they're trying to do something different here. I think the loot that you get from enemies is meant to be crap. Like I'm doing level 24 strikes right now. That's the Striker Strike playlist. And after the patch, there's a guaranteed engram drop. And usually the engram is a rare engram, you know. I never got a legendary from that. And to do that, level 24, I need to be at least a couple of levels higher, so I'm on like level 26 and level 27. So all the stuff that drops from the raid, the strike, is useless for me. And I think it's intentional. I think they don't want RNG in the game. I think they want you to earn the marks and buy it from the vendors. I think that's what it is. I think, which is probably a good and a bad thing, because I left World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 because I went through an entire raid cycle in World of Warcraft where I needed shoulders to drop, and the shoulders never dropped for my character, and I had it enough. Firelance Cataclysms is when I quit. And same thing happened with Guild Wars 2. I went through a week or almost a couple of weeks where I wanted this gear to drop and it never happened, and I calculated the probability of that, and it's like 1 in 110,000 or something like that. It was that bad. I was like, I hate RNGs and I'm quitting. And these guys tried to address it. They said, okay, you're gonna get marks no matter what you do. You get marks if you do daily events. You get marks if you do a strike. You get marks if you do daily missions and stuff like that. And then you buy it at the vendor. But then because of that, things become so scripted, so routine. It's like, oh, I need to do 18 strikes to get 100 marks or something. Oh, and I cap at 100, so I'm gonna get this gear in 1.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And so that just feeds artificial grind, and the grind is obvious then. Okay, so I see what you guys are doing. You want me to play 2 hours of this game every day then?
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. It basically is a time sink. The point of the mark system is that. And in some ways, you're right. It is good to have that guarantee. But I think the appeal of the RNG aspect is that you it's more of a moment when you get the gear. Whereas with marks, you like you say, it's very scripted. It's very planned. And it's all the same as everyone else, so you don't have that unique epic moment where you see the thing drop, and there is an appeal to that. But I think that the problem with the randomness in Destiny is that you don't know, you never know if when the cool thing drops, which is hard enough to manage already, if it's going to be something that you're happy that you got.
And actually, this game would have been okay with random drops like in Diablo and World of Warcraft, because there's so few gear pieces, right? Just like only
Yeah.
4 armor pieces, 3 types of weapons. Well, if you consider scout rifle or hand cannon and all that, there are a lot more weapons to drop. But there's chance. But in WoW, you had shoulders, you had braces, you had gloves, you had trinkets, you had that and this and that. So for all of them to drop, for you to go through, and the RNG to be good enough that you get all armor pieces to drop, it was hard. But here with 4 pieces, there's only like a 25% chance that any piece dropping. RNG would have worked here. They shouldn't have shied away. But they tried to do something new. They failed bad at it. So I don't know. I'm not really angry at them because they tried to do something different here. They were not going the traditional route. Uh, but they did not do a good job at it.
Well, I don't think the system is necessarily terrible, the loot system, but I think the problem is that the rest of the game is so dull and repetitive that I feel no impetus to engage with the loot system. Whereas in a
Yeah.
game like Diablo, I can mess with my class, with my build, and that keeps me entertained for a long time. Um, just that system, and that is what keeps me interested in grinding and killing lots of enemies and getting the loot and feeling that appeal of building out my character. But with Destiny, and I think this might be maybe a potential segue into the class discussion if you guys want. It's so the class the method of progression, the feeling of progression is so generic. It feels so bland to be gaining more armor, more light, more stats that have very nebulous, ambiguous effect on your effectiveness that I just have no desire to do it.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, I mean, at first I appreciated the light nature of the MMO. Like, there's only like 3 stats, right? A fourth stat if you include light, but intellect, strength, and what's the other one? I don't know, but yeah, one of them one
Discipline.
discipline. One of them improves your grenade, one of them improves your melee, one of them improves your super. I like that there's only 4 stats. You didn't have to worry about crit and all that stuff. I didn't. I appreciate that there were no professions in the game. You didn't have to do cooking and fishing and stuff like that. But
Though
then
it'd be
now
pretty
you
cool to go fishing in Destiny.
but now you see that, oh yeah, now I see why all those MMOs have the other crap in it because you get bored running the dungeons over and over again. You wanna just go out. Well, to be fair, they have gathering in it, which yeah, I think that's
Gathering
one
by
of
killing enemies essentially is what it is, though.
right, and I can see the reason why they don't want the armor pieces to drop that frequently or the guns to drop that frequently because you do keep the guns for a long time because especially with legendary gear, it takes a hell lot of time to grind to get to upgrade a gun. So versus a game like Borderlands where a gun drops, it's already set up to go, it's already up to its spec. You run it, you like it, you keep it. Then a better gun drops, you drop the gun and you use it. But here you get a gun, you have to unlock all its properties and all its perks, and then get ascendant shards and all that. So yeah, I think that's the problem. I think because of that they don't drop gun gear as often as they want because you keep a gun for a long time or a gear for a long time.
I haven't been keeping gear or guns for a long time. I guess it's because I'm just starting, but it seems like every time somebody drops something, it's better than what I have.
Yeah,
And now that I'm on the buildable, oh, I call them buildable, but they you can improve the weapon. It's like I don't even get it fully improved before I get one that's better than it.
yeah, it happens more with rare, I think, than greens, and
I've
then
never had a rare gun.
but yeah, but I think that's an unfortunate feature. It's an interesting feature, but what we kind of want is easier gear to get and more gear to get. And I think the gear is actually not totally random, right? There's only like a few guns out there. Like we know the best gun
Yeah.
out there. It's not as RNG like the
Auto rifle is the best one.
like I mean it feels like with Borderlands like the gear is all RNG, right? All the properties are on it like are all like rolled
Right.
on, so you get all these weird combinations of weapons out there, but this game doesn't have that, and that would have been a really good feature to have here.
Well, it has
Yeah,
like the different kinds of weapon. They have like the little symbols next to it. I forget what they mean. Shushire was
elemental
trying to
effects.
explain it to me. Yeah, the elemental effects. So
Oh
certain
yeah.
ones work better on different enemies. He was telling me. I guess I didn't get far enough for it to ever matter, but I mean that's a
Uh-huh.
change. I didn't know how that worked, but it's interesting, I guess.
I think if you were to have the system where the rolls of stats on the weapon are more random, I think you would have to lean more towards the Borderlands side of having a lot more loot that drops. I don't necessarily love that system. I think there's a balance to be struck between the Borderlands, or maybe even you could say Diablo kind of style of lots of stuff is coming at your face, and it's not a lot of it's going to be crap. Whereas in Destiny, you're not going to get a lot of loot, but when you do get the good thing, there is a fair chance it might be good for you. It might be worth investing your time into. I think that there's a balance there that both of those games miss between having a decent amount of drops and having stuff that you feel you can actually enjoy to play
Yeah,
with.
it's the thing, right? I mean, instant gratification versus a long-term gratification or something. But yeah, that's what happens with Diablo. I play a couple of hours at a time and I do. And the gear that drops is only like a few percentage points better than what I have. But at the end of a session, it's pretty much like I'm wearing a completely different set of armor now. But with Destiny, it takes me a week and a half to find a new gear piece, to buy a new gear piece, and it's like it's a lot better. It's definitely a lot better, but yeah, that's too long. I mean, real life is long-term gratification. I want my games to be instant gratification, man.
I think
Yeah.
the keyword you guys used was grind. I don't want my video game to have grind in it. Like I don't want to dread playing it. Don't want to be like, oh, that's right, I got to do all this. I
Well,
just
I
want
think
to.
a grind isn't necessarily evil of a game like this. It's gonna happen, and I know that turns a lot of people off. But the problem for me with Destiny is that the grind, as opposed to some other games, is not fun. Mainly because I feel like the game is so restrictive in pretty much every element. I can't. One of the appeals of grinding potentially is to be able to engage a lot socially with other people as you do it. But
Mm.
with Destiny, I'm not I don't. It's a lot harder to connect as it is in some other games. But again, that's a failing or a weakness of the platform, I guess, partially, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people make the argument that an MMO style game does not work on console. And I think this game might be a case in favor of that point.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, it's definitely a personal preference. I mean, grind and not grind, and I think the grind should be like a genre of its own. And this game, I wish they communicated up front that yeah, there's going to be grind in this game. And to be fair, the gunplay is nice actually, and I actually don't mind grind. Whenever I start playing this game, I at least paid for like a couple of hours, and I'm like, oh, I get 6 more points if I do the strike. Oh, I can do the daily mission. Oh, these bounties seem easy to do. I can do the bounties now. So I do get sucked into it, and I don't mind the grind because the gameplay is a bit fun if you have the right weapon, and but that takes a while. If you have the wrong rifle, it's horrible, and if you don't have the right gear, it's bad. Uh, but yeah, like some enemies are pretty fun to fight, right? Like the Cabals are pretty fun to fight because they don't hide or they don't, duck or anything. They just come right at you.
I mean, I haven't really experienced grind because I haven't played the game enough to where it's like, I just don't want to play this right now. But I've always had fun while playing it, and it hasn't gotten old yet. But I haven't played it nearly as well. I guess I've only played 2 hours less than Zach, so it's not, it's not as bad as
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I'll make no claim to having a vast amount of experience with the end game, but I kind of get the feeling that from what I have played, that it pretty much is just you you go in there and you shoot a lot of stuff and you hope for the best. And for a lot of people that is worth it. The gameplay, as we've been saying, is great, but personally for me, it's not enough for me to want to keep going, to keep killing, in PvE format at least. Whereas a game maybe that has a different system of gameplay of killing those enemies, of doing the grind, would keep my attention.
Yeah, I'm at level 27, and I think except for I need to get a legendary helmet, and after that, pretty much I think I'm done with this cycle of patches as an expansion and
Beating
nothing.
it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get into the raid business and all that stuff. But pretty much every day I get in, I first go to the tower, go to the bounty hunter, get a bunch of bounties that I can do, like yeah, like things like do a strike without dying. Come on, guys, that's not gonna happen. But other ones like collect so many shards or something from the moon, do kill so many mages and stuff like that. I get all those stuff. I run down. I have a timer where I can see, when the daily events are gonna happen, the public events are gonna happen. Get a public event done because that gives you a good crafting material, the ascendant shard or the ascendant energy. Then try to do the daily mission. Actually, the gun I have is Doctor No, and it's a legendary auto rifle, and it's pretty fun. It has a very fast rate of fire, and that I got through doing the daily mission. And actually, that I think has a better chance of dropping a legendary weapon or something, and then do a couple of strikes in that. So it's not like I'm doing same thing over and over again. Well, I'm doing the same thing over and over again every day. But through a gameplay session, I'm doing some patrols, I'm doing some strikes, I'm doing a daily mission. So it keeps things varied, but that's pretty much it. If that doesn't sound good, it's probably is not a game for you at
Well,
all. Yeah.
the ones that you say are hard that are like without dying, do this. It's a lot easier when you have a fire team. So I
Hmm.
think that stuff like that might be stuff that's trying to make you like involve other people and get more social about it.
Yeah,
Because
and I
like
guess.
not dying in a strike isn't that hard when you have like a 3-person fire team. You just keep reviving one another when you die.
Well, no, I think that counts as dying, I think. Oh, you mean
No,
vibes
no.
is that? Oh, wait. Oh,
You
right.
can if you revive each other, like you don't actually you have a certain time before you can't be revived and then you come back and that's considered a death. Because like if you go to the like boss parts at the end of the level and you
Uh-huh.
die and someone revives you, it doesn't count as you dying. You don't have to start it
Oh,
over again.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought that actually counted as death because I saw my kill in that ratio change. Uh, yeah, I'm not
Uh,
sure about that, but you probably may be right.
Ultimately, I think the problem for me is that maybe if I did have a fire team, a group of people to play with, I would feel like all of this was worth it. Because I mean, grinding in any MMO is not fun unless, for me, unless there's something to work towards. So, say like a World of Warcraft, the goal is to get lots of stuff and do all the boring stuff to contribute to the raid, which is the fun thing. And maybe the fun thing in this game is the raid too, the thing to build toward. But it could just be that I don't have a group of people that are interested in playing Destiny to that degree. But I think that the game, the lack of social features and things like that, is a part of the reason why that isn't a thing to strive for.
Zach, you probably played a lot more PvP than any of us have. Yeah, so how's the class balance and everything?
Well, I think the class balance is ultimately pretty solid. It doesn't factor in too much because, like I said early on, the majority of your gameplay is compacted into the idea of shooting your gun and killing the enemy. Occasionally, your super will come in. If you're a warlock, you'll be kind of short changed because your leap ability is a lot less efficient and useful
Yeah.
than the other classes until you get the blink thing.
So
Uh,
I'm not imagining, right? The Warlock's leap thing is
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it's really bad, and that can really mess you up in PvP if you're just like hovering around. They just shoot you out of the sky as you're trying to get to a new platform.
Yeah.
That is a thing. There are a few small things like that, and I think it's all good. I think it makes things a little bit more interesting. But yeah, generally speaking, on PvP, that's probably where I put maybe 80% of my playtime. Everything pretty much but the story and a few forays into the PvE content at the end. I think it is just really fun. I mean, the map design is good. The game design is the same as most FPS, but still fun. Like you have the kind of control point where you have to take control of the areas and hold them. You know, the pure deathmatch where you just kill the other team. You have um, salvage, which I haven't played much personally, but the idea of that is that you go after these artifacts and you have to kind of go in these small teams and secure a spot, which is pretty cool. There's some fairly unique stuff in there, but it's not nearly on the level of, say, a Halo, where you could literally build game modes and maps and enjoy those with your friends. And it had a lot more unique, fun, interesting stuff. And again, this is an issue of the kind of game Destiny is, where it doesn't have that level of functionality because of the amount of infrastructure it has to support. Um, and that is a weakness when compared to the standard FPS. But it's still this gets back to the idea that the pure gunplay is really satisfying, especially in PvP. I love that. I really enjoy it. And if I had to pick one part of the game that I think is on point, that would be it.
How's the weapon balance, do you think? I mean, you find that there's pretty much only one kind of weapon getting used, or
Yeah, for now it pretty much is. I find on most maps, auto rifle, shotgun is the way to go. They're just generally the best. Shotgun, if you get in close and shoot in the right way, like towards the head, it will be a one-shot kill most of the time. And a lot of the maps are quite small and have a lot of corners, so those are the times when you really want to have a shotgun. And when people are moving around fast and not really like paying attention and taking it slow like you might with another game, that gun has a dramatically increased potential. There are a couple maps that are really big that would encourage you to use sniper rifle, but still, people move around so fast in the game
Hmm.
it's not encouraged. And a lot of the fighting tends to happen near. Well, I've played mostly control, so a lot of the fighting tends to occur near the control zones, which are kind of like in buildings or behind walls. So again, shotgun is generally the way to go, and I think they are going to nerf those two and hopefully encourage more diverse play, specifically with the main gun, because the assault rifle, the idea of it is that it's supposed to be really good in close to mid quarters, but it's still generally preferred to the pulse rifle and the scout rifle, which are meant to be better longer range. So the goal is to make those the choice you do want in the long range situations. But I think the problem with that idea, I'm sorry, is that the long range situations don't come up too much because of how the maps are designed, at least in the game modes I've played.
mostly kept away from PvP. I only just occasionally venture in just to kind of see how much reps I'm getting with Crucible, and is this a faster way to get the gear or something. I think the longest I've played PvP was with this Iron Banner event, which supposedly where your gear matters. And me being a level 26 and level 27, I thought, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have a chance, and I think I did pretty well. Okay, I mean, I'm looking at one of the matches, and my kill to that ratio is 0.5. So that's like very good for me. And then I was reading that actually the gear actually doesn't really that did not make that much of a difference, because it was set so up that even a level 6 player had a decent chance against a level 30. So it's probably a confidence issue for me. Then I was like, yeah, I'm level 27, I can kill anybody now. But you're right. Well, my thing is with the PvP in this game is it feels nothing special. And the last
Right.
PvP game I played was Titanfall, and Titanfall had like so many unique gimmicks. There's parkouring and there's titans and stuff like that. So this game just at once felt very bland for me. Wait, there's nothing much. I can throw grenades. There's a super, but otherwise there's nothing special here. But
That is true, but if I had to advance a claim of why I think that Destiny is superior to Titanfall in its PvP, it would just be the idea that the map design is better. I think that things like, personally, I think things like the Titans and the parkour, well, there's parkour in Destiny too, but I think like the Titans and the kill streak, I don't know, kind of stuff is a negative. It kind of just makes things too confusing, more of a mess. Whereas there's a sort of simplicity to the PvP in Destiny. I can wrap my head around the idea very easily of most of the time we're going to be trying to control these areas with our guns, and it's going to be a fairly even power imbalance. But if we stock up our super and we get a really good one off when they're all standing in one place, that's going to give us an advantage briefly that we can take hold of. I don't know. I like that idea. I think it's very well designed. Maybe not all intentionally, but I think it's come together in a great way.
So I've never done P versus P. So is it like is it every man for himself?
Oh, that depends on the game mode. There is a mode where you can
Okay.
do everyone for
Teams.
themselves, but yeah, but most of the time it is a team endeavor.
Okay.
yeah,
And
it's
and you
like
need PlayStation Plus for that?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, fuck you, PlayStation.
yeah. Well, that's really strange because I am playing the game on PS3, and for the most part, the game still looks excellent, and I don't need a PSN. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one reason to keep my PS3 around forever. I save $5 every month.
Is it only 5? I thought it was 15.
What? I thought it was like $50 a year or something, or $60 a year.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Oh.
15, and I think it's a great deal. Just to be honest, if I want to rep
Is it really?
PlayStation Plus.
I've never even looked into it because I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to spend money to play games.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of gotten worse in the past, where they are starting to require it for or for multiplayer content in a lot of games. But some of the just general stuff is good. Like it'll give you free games that you can just play
Yeah.
for a certain period that are really good at times, and some discounts and stuff. So in the world of subscriptions, I'd say it's up there in
So you're
appeal.
saying just man up and pay the money. Stop being a
Well, you
bitch.
don't have
I
to.
get it.
I mean, if
It's
you want to play a lot of games, yeah, on your PlayStation.
Skyrim's game that cost 15 a month to play. Was that it?
yeah,
The
yeah.
Skyrim game that came out?
Elder Scrolls Online, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 15 a month to play. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. And I was just like, I'm not paying for the game and then paying $15 every month to play your game.
Yeah, you can't really have subs on consoles because you're playing for your pluses and all that stuff, and the Xbox Live World thing or whatever that is. And then on top of that, $15 a game, that's hard. That's
Well,
harsh. And I think that's why the DLCs with Destiny are coming every 3 months or something. That's probably how they will keep making their money.
Elder Scrolls, I think you didn't need PlayStation Network to play theirs online.
Oh,
So I mean,
okay.
I guess you could save the money there, but still, I hate it when you buy a game and then they're like, now if you keep giving us money, you can keep playing our game. I hate it.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break and come back and talk about the story of Destiny. So all spoilers all the time or whatever. But stick around. I mean, the spoilers in this game are not that big. You can still enjoy the game, even if we spoil everything. It's not like one of those other games. So yeah,
With a
please
story is
with
what
the
you're saying. One of
story.
those other games with a story.
So see you guys back soon. Bye. Okay, so a story, man. Ah, man, there's so much potential here. They could have told us so much, but yeah, I don't know. I actually, after finishing up the game, I went up to Amazon, saw and tried to find if there was a book or a novel or something that accompanied this game to get more at the story, but there's none. And all you can do is read the Grimoire cards. And if you haven't unlocked I think all the Grimoire cards that have to do with the dead ghost, the card you get when you find a dead ghost in the game are the only worthwhile ones. Rest of them are like, the Cabal, they wear heavy suits. The Fallen, they're scavengers. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just don't have much to say on the story. I haven't played the
Yeah.
game enough.
Okay, okay. You wanna know how the game ends?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
fine with it. I don't really
okay.
care.
You're gonna
I'll
make
never
your
play it that much.
you're gonna make your way to the Black Garden, which I have to say, you get a view of the Black Garden from the top of this cliff or something, and it's so pretty. It's really good. You're like really excited. I want to get down there and see what it is. But then when you get down there, there's a black moss blob thing which revives three statues, three identical Minotaur style statues. You kill the statues, suddenly the traveler is feeling a lot better, and this weird chick gives you a pulse rifle. The end.
Yeah. So here's my attempt at summarizing the entirety of Destiny's story, and it's not going to be that hard because not much happens. So you begin, you wake up. The Peter Dinklage bot tells you that you have to save the world, and you're okay with that. There's no kind of like, oh wait, why? What's going on? You just go, and you don't wonder like why you've been revived from the dead or anything, and how that happened, and what's changed and everything. There's some very brief mentions of it, but nothing that actually has any kind of character or narrative depth to it. You go around, you get a ship, you find the tower where you find out that it's the last living or good place on Earth, and you have to go fight all the bad guys basically to hopefully make things better. You collect some stuff, you meet, and you find out about the different enemies and what they're doing and why they're evil, and it's all very generic stuff. They're just pure evil, or they've been corrupted. And then you get the one actual cutscene in the game where you meet the queen, and and she's this character that could have been interesting if there'd been anything there, where she's very mysterious and stoic, and her bodyguard guy is very very serious and wants you out, and you're sent to
Oh, I
go
thought that was
collect.
her brother.
That's a brother,
You're
yeah.
right, her
Yeah, they had
brother
like a
slash
Lannister
bodyguard guy.
situation goes on there.
Yeah, and that's the only point of the game where you start to think that maybe something's gonna happen that you care about, but it
I
doesn't
know,
really pay
right? I
off.
was so excited to go to the reef, but then you were just there for a second and you're back.
Yeah, and after that, it basically is you have to deal with these robot guys and get stuff from them, and eventually kill the biggest, baddest one.
I mean, there's cool stuff here. Like somebody read the Grimoire cards and published this on Reddit, and it was like the reason why there are some fallen being protecting the queen is that's the house of wolves. Yeah, that's the house of wolves. Those are the green fallen that are near the queen, and the reason why they obey the queen is the queen killed the house of wolves Kel, and people are speculating, wait a minute, we killed the winter Kel, so that means do the winter fallen will obey us or something. So there's like all sorts of speculation that in eventually as the game progresses, the winter house will ally with us and fight for us and stuff like that. So there's all these cool chances and opportunities and potential here, but the game just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, this boils down to that problem that to access that stuff, I shouldn't have to go to their website, and I even if that was something I wanted to do, it's not something I want to do because the presentation of the story in the game itself leaves me with no desire to learn more about it. I mean, it's all presented in the blandest, most generic way. These guys are bad. It's the light versus the darkness, and none of it has any kind of story hook that makes me think, oh, the lore in this game is cool. I want to learn more about it. I felt none of that.
You walk in, you kill all the faceless baddies, and then you're done.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're different baddies, then they're kind of uniquely designed in a gameplay perspective. Though they all kind of boil down to the idea that they shoot at you and you shoot back at the end of the day. But there's I just I mean the Vax, they're robots. The Fallen, they're these weird guys. The Hive, they're the Hive is the zombies. I mean, none of them have anything that is remotely me saying, oh, I gotta stop those guys. That I have a personal connection to this conflict.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're like you said before. There's no character growth. Your guy, like, you get to design him kind of, and then it's just like he's a faceless person the whole game anyway.
Yeah. You
Doesn't
get to
make a
put
whole
some
lot of
weird
sense.
green hair on him. He has a weird looking face, and that's pretty much it. That's his whole character right there. And just being
Yeah.
the guy who responds.
Now, when you're making your character and you can like make him fallen, right?
You can not Fallen. You can make him like the
Awoken.
robot, the like
robot.
good guy robot guys.
Yeah,
But
is
I
that
don't think the
storyline
changes.
different?
No, it's not remotely from what I know. It doesn't affect anything.
I heard rumors that the storyline, the story we experience, where the ghost comes and wakes us up, is actually the Awoken starting area kind of thing, and it's different if you're a human and different if you are Vox. I forget. I actually play uh, the robot guy.
Yeah, but I don't think it's different in the story at all. It's just like a different zone. Maybe you get a couple lines of dialogue, but nothing that I think would be worth seeing what the other class story is for the
Because I
other
could see
race.
there being potential there, but if it's all the same and there's just like little tiny differences, then there's no point in it. But I could see them like to make the game more replayable, to like change it up and have kind of a different storyline. It'd be nice, but they just decided bland was the way to go.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big gripes about this game is you hear all these stuff like, oh, $500 million was spent on this game. It's a AAA title, Bungie with all its history. And what we got was is a lot less. And I think that's why all the speculations of, oh, they're holding stuff content out of content back, they got cut. Because nobody can believe this is what they had after all those years they put in. Because I mean, if you compare it with Call of Duties and stuff like that, sure, why not? Yeah, that's about what you get. I mean, Titanfall was a full price title and you only got like a PvP game. But when you compare it with any other thing, like a Diablo or a Mass Effect or Shadow of Mordor or anything like that, you see like, wait, there's so less. There's no, yeah. Yeah, it's
I guess I just feel like I don't mind what I got for the money. Like, I'm okay with it. The game's very okay, but it's nothing that like if somebody was on the fence about it, I wouldn't be like, well, you gotta get it. I'd be
Yes.
like, well, you should rent it and see if you want to get it.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about buying it. I think that the PvP for me was reason enough, and I still intend to go back to that. But yeah, if you're looking for a game with a good story, that is what you like that single player story experience. Do not buy Destiny. Do not buy it. Is what I
yeah.
would say.
Here's another way of putting it. I pretty much played about 60 hours of this game, and I think I've played about 60 hours of Skyrim too. But here's the difference. In Skyrim, I don't think I repeated any single thing. Every mission was unique. Every location I went to was unique. Was different. Was a different part of the map. But not with Destiny. Destiny, I repeated everything like at least 20 times. The same strike 20 times, the same patrol mission 30 times.
I was also a
So
lot more interested in like the stories in Skyrim than I ever was in any of these. Of course, I played it a lot more, but in Skyrim, like, I actually cared. Like, what are the Falmer? What are they doing there? That kind of thing. In this, it was just like, well, whatever. These guys are here, and I got to shoot them all.
the Fallen were very interesting for me. I was like, I had like all my theories, like, oh, the Fallen were once noble race, but they also got defeated by the darkness, and now they have to be scavengers living off remains of other civilizations just to survive. But then there are Fallen
That's
like
what
on
they are, guys.
every planet, and I'm like, whatever, guys, kill, kill, kill.
And if we're gonna talk about most annoying mob, it's the Fallen, which is funny. Is the Vandals in particular, and their freaking stealth ones that come at you and one shot you. And it's funny that the most annoying and I would say hardest mob is the one at the start, whereas I think they get progressively easier to deal with as you go further into the game. They become easier enemy types.
That's so true. Like at the last, I mean, I think I've seen the concept arts for Cabal and stuff like that, but I did not associate a name with them. So when we were going to Mars, it was like, oh, Cabal, 800-pound gorilla, they can destroy planets and all that. And then there are these fat guys in suits coming at you, and I was like, what the heck is that? It's like, wait, they're all round and cute and stuff like that. But yeah, the Cabal are like the easiest enemy to deal with.
Yeah.
I know I got when I was playing with Shoe Shiner on thing, he like pulled me into one of his levels and I couldn't do anything with how crappy my guy was. Like I would just shoot a guy in the head like 15 times and he still wouldn't be dead. Because my weapons just weren't powerful enough. So
I think
and
that
if I pulled him into mine, it didn't do him any good to kill people because it wasn't worth anything to him. So it was kind of you almost need to
actually,
start at the same time.
yeah, actually the levels, there's like lots of artificial scaling going on here, like Guild Wars 2. I was told that when you're 2 levels lower than the enemy, you do 40% less damage, and even lower if the level difference is so high. But it doesn't really matter if you're much higher level than the enemy. There's a ceiling cap. That's why when you go to Earth and you're fighting level 2 mobs, they're not like dying instantly when they see you. uh, but
But
then
there are like the ones that are underneath the ground in Earth that I couldn't even kill to start with. They just have like question marks,
oh
and
yeah.
nothing you can do can hurt them. And I think that is retarded. But when went in with them, I could hurt them. Do you know what I mean?
But I think the loot the monsters or the mobs drop actually doesn't matter on the level, and that's why the loot cave, which is on Earth and you're fighting level 2 mob, was actually a reasonable way to farm, because it doesn't matter if you kill a major, it doesn't matter if you kill a drag, if it doesn't matter what you kill, the loot table for all these monsters and mobs is the same. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you guys do any of the loot cave stuff and all that?
I don't even know what that is, so no.
Oh, okay. So there's a cave in Earth, and it's specifically called the Skywatch, and basically a mob there spawns every 6 seconds. So if you find a good position, location, you can stand there and just kill them over and over and over again, and you have the fastest, time versus kill, mob kill at that location. And so it was a good way to farm engrams and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's not really worth it. You're not gonna get the legendary engrams you get turned into rare engrams. So it was, yeah,
Hmm.
it wasn't like worth doing it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do that, but yeah, I guess that is just part of the grinding experience. People find the best spot and stake it out.
Okay, then I think we are done talking about the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we got mixed feelings, right? I mean, that's why we come here to do a podcast, because we see what the game can be, but at the present state, it's not satisfactory.
It's funny because we all have pretty much the same mixed feelings. Like we all think the same bad things are bad and the same good things are good, and then but they can't seem to get them right when they put it all into a game. I'm sure there's people out there that absolutely love this game and don't think there's anything wrong with it, but
Yeah, there are some things going for this game though. Like, I mean, MMO wise, I played a ton of World of Warcraft. Then I played a ton of Guild Wars 2. Played a bit of Eve. Then any other MMO I tried after that, I did not stick too long. I tried Elder Scrolls, probably played it for like a day and a half. Tried Arcade again, a day and a half. But this game again, I spent again 60 hours. So there's something here. There's like there's like something in this game. It's not totally crap. It's not a waste of time for you to try and invest in. There's something here. It's a good game, but it's not at the moment.
And it's fun to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is the key, that it is fun to play. Again, we've been kind of hammering this point home. The core gameplay of this game is solid. It's great. It's very satisfying, but the support structure is so weak. And the hope is that, and what I honestly do believe is that maybe in a year's time they'll have dramatically increased that support structure. And I think that in that time the game will be much better and worthwhile.
I wonder how the expansions will work then. Can I go away and a year later can I come back and buy the DLC then? Or should I have to buy all the old DLCs too just so I keep up with the game? Like WoW makes you do.
Well, the hope is that there will be updates that affect the game without you needing to buy anything. That maybe you're restricted from new actual content, but the like sort of like the base game is improved, like with the loot system, the social gameplay, things like that. Hopefully, go up without you having to buy access to them.
And
Yeah, like
they've
maybe
been
they'll make new guns or new new guns or new missions that you probably won't get, but the whole base game will get better.
yeah, and plus they're having events every 2 weeks, so they're trying to do. I think we got this. We don't have the schedule for October and November yet, but pretty much the last 2 weeks we had the Queen's Rat and now the Iron Banner event. So I hope they keep doing those kind of things. So that's it for this week from us. Thank you for joining us, guys. And yeah, if you find a sale or something going on with Destiny, do try pick it up and see how it works for you. But do not. It's a grind game. Bye.
Cheers.